So now that we know what code interpreter is and how it works and which restrictions apply, let's start using it and let's start diving into some important prompting techniques. But of course, first of all, you have to make sure that you can really use this feature. And when it comes to using that feature, at least at the point of time where I'm recording this video, by default, you won't find any ChatGPT version that would have Code Interpreter enabled by default, no matter if you're a Plus user or not. Instead, at the moment, you have to go to your settings, and then there under Beta features, you have to explicitly enable Code Interpreter. Now that of course may change in the future, but at the moment, that's how you can enable it. Now, once you did enable this feature, you will find a ChatGPT option with Code Interpreter when selecting the GPT-4 model. And once you enabled that specific version of the model, or that version that has this Code Interpreter unlocked to be precise, you are ready to use it. And now with that enabled, ChatGPT will try to use Code Interpreter if it helps ChatGPT solve a certain problem in a better way, or if it allows ChatGPT to solve a problem it would not be able to solve otherwise. For example, with Code Interpreter enabled and selected, we could now ask ChatGPT to generate 20 random integer numbers, which are simply numbers without decimal places, between 1 and 100. And now, instead of guessing or predicting such numbers, as ChatGPT might normally do, it will indeed generate some Python code and execute that code, and then give us the result of that code execution. Now, what's great about this Code Interpreter feature is that by default, all the work that's being performed is hidden from you, so that if you don't have a programming background, you don't have to deal with the details of what just happened. But if you want to take a closer look, you can do that by clicking here on Show Work. And once you do that, you'll see the actual code that was generated and the result of executing that code. Though that result is then of course also output here in a prettier way by ChatGPT. What's also important to note is that when using Code Interpreter, a single chat session, so all the messages in a single chat, share the same execution environment. Therefore, if I now send a follow-up message like multiply every number with 2, ChatGPT will again use Code Interpreter, but it will use Interpreter in that same execution environment. And therefore here, if we take a closer look at the work performed, you can actually see that it uses the same random numbers variable, as it's called in programming, that was generated in the previous response from ChatGPT. So instead of regenerating the entire code and losing results from previous calculations, it keeps those results and it keeps the same execution environment, and we can build up on those previous responses and on the results from previous code executions when sending follow-up messages. So that with that here, in this case, we indeed do get these numbers here, which are based on the result we got from an earlier message and code execution.